So, we meet again, old friend. But this time, different. Boys, we're talking about Smash again! Let's chat. Hi everybody, welcome to Challenger Approaching Smash Talk. That is the title pending. That's probably not gonna be,
No.
That's probably not gonna, I don't like it.
Veto.
Veto. Smart. Yeah, that's,
Smash.
We're not.
CATV does talk is about Smash Brothers. Hi, hello everybody. We're gonna be talking about Smash Brothers just like the old days. Yes, back when Challenger Approaching first got started on Tumblr, we started out as a Smash speculation blog, and now that more Smash news has come out, it seems like we're getting back into that, and that's exciting, isn't it? All right, topic 1: port or new game? No confirmation has been given yet that this is an entirely new title. All references to the game and articles provided by Nintendo refer to the game as Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Working title. They have announced that the game is to be released this year. Is it likely, or even possible, for a new game in the series to be in development already? Or is it more likely to be a port?
I personally do not think it's going to be a port and more a Smash 5, but with the same engine as Smash 4.
Why do you say that?
I don't feel like they would add more characters to a port like this, so that this different version of the same game will have unique stuff that the others won't have access to. That is the one thing that is mainly my issue with being in a straight port.
I'm going to volley back on that one and put Hyrule Warriors on the table, which does exactly that in all regards.
Yeah.
Well,
Devil's advocate. Mario Kart 8 got a direct port, and they added Inklings. So the idea of adding Inklings to a port is not unprecedented.
It's not new.
I do find that very convincing.
The Switch is very, very, very good at releasing past titles with a little bit more content.
You mean the Wii U too? I think those games will get away with that with no issue at all, but a huge title as Smash will not be able to...
I don't know, man. Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart... Well, different characters in Mario Kart is essentially just a model. In Hyrule Warriors, it is...
That's fair.
Also, if you were to ask me what was a bigger title for Nintendo, Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, I would probably have to say Smash was at least a bigger title. Not by much.
Disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Mario Kart sells way more.
Yeah, to people our age, maybe Smash, but for the world in general, Mario Kart takes the cake.
It's so accessible.
Mario Kart has way better sales than Smash ever does.
So Gamersaps is saying that he believes that this is going to be a whole new game. I personally believe that it is going to be a port, simply because of that reasoning that we just went into. And also just, I don't know, it seems like an odd way to announce a new Super Smash Bros. Is to just like put it at the end of a Nintendo Direct and just announce the Inkling? I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to build up hype for it.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of hype.
Yeah,
There was.
Coming out this year, then they're like at most only 9 months away from release. And usually the hype train is like more than a year for a Smash game.
Yeah.
So
Now,
they're trying to draw this out as much as they can, probably.
Just want to throw out that the copyright in the corner says 2018 Nintendo, and not
It does say
like
that.
2014 to 2018. There's been no mention of Bandai Namco yet in any of the information we've given.
Itself,
They were a big part of the development in the last game, that's true.
A great
actually,
point.
It's a new logo, and there's that Sakurai tweet that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I can say, I have it right here, and I can say what it says. While we haven't gotten to the point where we can announce the game's title, I've been working on the title in silence day after day. Please look forward to new information when the title goes on sale.
there's a sort of like weird truism about game development that in the West, you make one game engine and then you use it for as long as possible. Like you keep using that same engine for every game until hardware no longer supports it. Whereas in Japan, it's you make a brand new engine for every game you make. And I feel like that's starting to break down. So what I'm hoping for is that this is kind of what I expect this to be, is a new game, but like Sep said, using at least the core engine, like the skeleton.
Okay. So you think that this is going to be the first Smash Brothers game in the series that has worked off of a prior engine?
Yeah, and I remember they kind of did that between Wii U and Brawl, but they built a new engine, but then they like imported a bunch of stuff from Brawl and then tweaked it from there. I think what I'm expecting is that they just took this basic graphics / gameplay engine and then just used that as their foundation and then went from the ground up from there. Further thoughts regarding so we've been talking about a bunch of things like the logo is different. They redesigned some of the characters. Bandai Namco may or may not be involved, and there was talk just today about there's this very soft choral theme that plays. That's a new melody. It's not the Smash 4 theme.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of these on their own, I don't think would say much. But the fact that it's all of these at once is leading me towards believing that they want to at least present this as a brand new Smash game.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody made a tiny little jingle, and that wouldn't have meant much. If we just saw Link in his Breath of the Wild outfit by itself, that wouldn't have meant much.
Updated him with the new look of the most recent popular game. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they've made it evident that they can give a character a costume that looks completely different vis-a-vis Wario. But maybe his 8th costume, instead of being the Shadow Link or something, would end up being Breath of the Wild Link, and that wouldn't be that big of a deal. But the fact, so I'm going to kind of agree with you here, that they have so many little things accumulating is starting to feel like, okay, if this is just going to be some sort of port, they're at least putting a lot into it. But yeah, maybe they are making it a new game. I can imagine just going off of an old engine. So instead of it needing to take the standard 6 or 7 years that the previous 2 games took to be released, they're like, okay, well, we're just going to use the engine. That's going to cut 2-3 years off of our development time.
When did the last DLC come out?
February 3rd, 2016.
Okay. So yeah, that's been more than 2 years then. Like between then and the time this comes out. So
cool.
That's feasible. The graphical style of the Inkling section of the trailer looked very much like the CG trailers for Smash 4. Like at first I thought, I was like, oh, it's like Splatoon coming to Switch? That's weird. Is it like
Splatoon 1, 2?
Is it like Splatoon? Is it Splatoon 1 content coming to Splatoon 2? That makes sense. This is really intense. These graphics are a little bit too good for Splatoon. Oh my god, I know what this is. It reminded me of the Rosalina trailer.
I think that there is a lot of evidence supporting both sides. I think that it could very well be a port, and it could very well be a new game. I think Wander's suggestion that they might be working... Well, it was also Saps. Yeah. That they might be running off of an old engine would make it being a new game much easier to believe.
Yeah, it would be much more feasible for the company to put something like that out in the time period that they've been given than creating an entirely new engine. Which, if they did that, I would have a hard time thinking that they would be able to put out an entirely new game in this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you consider stuff like balancing.
That was the exact same camp that I fell into as I was thinking about it. And it isn't something that's ever been done with Smash games, or I guess games that really sell themselves as fighter games. But I know I've played a ton of games growing up that were mainly based on anime series that would just build off of their previous titles. And that's why games like Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had huge, insane rosters, because they just...
Listen, that's the best video game ever. You don't need any other video game other than that one.
But I mean, they just
cannot be made.
They only had to make Goku once, and then they just kept adding till they had dumb characters like Frieza Soldier 1 and 2. But would Sakurai ever recycle the content?
I think that if the need to put out more Smash games got a bit overwhelming, then yeah, he'd probably cave.
It's not there's not a huge demand.
The one thing that I had said previously about my one feeling that it's not a new game is that with all of the work and all of the notoriety that went around Sakurai's both emotional and psychological and physical experiences making Smash 4, it really felt like he was saying, okay guys, this is the last Smash game.
It feels like every Smash is the last Smash game. Pulling him back in.
Well, that's why I would feel like it would be more likely that that they would try to find some excuse to make further future Smash games easier to streamline or produce so that it wasn't as physically and psychologically taxing on him.
Right.
So if making
the whole team.
Yeah.
I'm starting to theorize that Sakurai had planned to do that even before starting the Wii U game. Because, well, I mean, obviously we know that him working on Smash is exhaustive and probably unhealthy for him. But he might have gone into Super Smash Bros. 4 with the intention of streamlining the process in the future. And that's why instead of calling it Melee or Brawl, he simply called it Super Smash Bros. And
for the Wii U and 3DS.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can consider at this point that it's almost like a separate series. The first 3 games are their own thing, and now future Smash titles are just going to be this Super Smash Brothers
for Switch, for whatever's coming next.
It is
right?
weird that they're not. I've heard rumors that they're going to try to give it a proper subtitle this time. I'm not sure how much I believe that, but
I mean, a proper subtitle is literally just choosing one word that's a synonym for fight.
I mean, as said earlier, the working title is apparently Nintendo Switch Super Smash Brothers, which just sounds weird considering past naming convention.
It'll be Super Switch Brothers.
Yeah, the fact that they're deliberately making sure it's not Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo Switch or on Nintendo Switch, like it seems like they're intentionally avoiding that. It seems like they're trying to separate it from the past 2 games.
Or opening up the possibility of more than one Smash game being released on the Switch in its lifetime.
Wow.
Would be a lot, though.
That would be a lot.
That would be
so much.
Definitive Edition.
God dang it. New Funky Edition.
Support!
Yeah,
featuring Funky Kong.
It's also kind of a scary idea. The idea that it could just be like Assassin's Creed, where they put one out every year and then the quality dips.
They would not.
I don't think that will like even with the Smash fandom and fans and all that. I don't even think they will accept that.
Did everyone just low key like admit that Assassin's Creed is terrible?
Low key.
I like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed 2 is a good video game.
When you do a yearly release, your quality is gonna drop.
They're definitely going to go with the DLC route again with this, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No.
Here's another question. If it's a port, will it come with the DLC that's already been out?
I'd imagine
Yes.
so.
It would have to.
Well,
Hyrule Warriors syndrome.
Like, if it's a somewhat semi-direct port of 3DS Wii U, it would have to have all the DLC, because that's like the pattern they've established.
Yeah, fuck you if you think I'm spending money to buy the same goddamn characters again.
But there's one reason why that might not be the case, and that's just because of how many of the DLC characters and base characters were third party. Just the way copyright works, we can't guarantee that they're going to get the rights to have Ryu Fight Man in again.
I mean, they may just leave those characters out if they can't get the rights to them again.
Capcom and Platinum Games and Bandai Namco would be pretty foolish to not say yes
Square
to
Enix
putting them
throwing
back in.
so much weight behind the Switch. Like they're the ones I would think would be least likely to sign back on. But
I mean,
seeing
Square
how much
Enix
support...
just likes money for low effort. So
See, the great thing about us not being the Challenger Approaching blog anymore is we can just throw complete shade in the direction of whatever company we want. I had one more point I wanted to get through about port versus new game.
Go on.
That's to put yourself in Sakurai's dainty little loafers for a second.
I like them.
Not ready.
They're comfy.
These are some nice shoes.
They feel good.
Wow.
But
It's leather.
if you've been working on the production of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, you probably spend like 5 years of your life constantly tuning and perfecting Mario in terms of design and gameplay and balance. You get the feedback and you tweak him over and over until he is, to the best of your ability, perfect. And then the game is released, and the very next day you go into work, toss it out, and start over again. Unlike previous installments, there's been no major upgrade to hardware, or the industry hasn't changed in any way since last time. I mean, there's clearly a difference between Melee and Brawl and 4, but what could be different this time? Because there's nothing you can really do to push those graphics further, or to push the gameplay further.
Also,
you basically end up with the same Mario again.
Yeah. Also, on this point, Smash 4 was the first game in the series to be patched, to have balance patches throughout its life.
That's true.
Okay,
So
but
they
I
were
mean,
continuing to tweak and refine the gameplay after it was released.
well, yeah, but I mean, look at it this way. Inevitably, I don't want to get into the whole concept of like realism in art versus like representationism, because you can only make your graphics as realistic as possible before it becomes either A,
Uncanny.
we literally can't discern the difference between reality and video game character, or B, that's no longer the style I'm trying to strive for. Obviously, Nintendo's not going to try to make photorealistic Smash Brothers because that would just be really weird.
Well, they made Smash 4 the graphics exactly stylistically how they wanted to with the limitations they were given, and now they have no further limitations. They just make the same ones again unless they wanted to go with a different style.
Right.
Well, I mean, look at how Mario in Mario Odyssey looks compared to how Mario in Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U looks. They do look different.
That's not a bad point.
Yeah.
If the Mario you're making has no way to really expand past the previous one you made, why not reuse the asset? I think it's going to start with a base of the previous game and just add on from there.
So is anybody willing to come out with a hard opinion of a port or a new game?
No.
Port or new game, Jack?
I completely agree with same engine, but considered to be a new game.
I still think it's a port.
You think it's a port?
I think it's a port. I think that I like the idea of them working off of the old engine, but I don't know. Just a whole new game in the series seems too soon for me.
Because you know the one thing I thought about, what we probably wouldn't get, or at least not as much of, the daily/weekly Smash updates.
Yeah, I commented on that the other day. The memers is down and all that. I mean, Twitter is a thing, but
well, I mean, like, it was a big deal. Like, this is gonna be extremely nerdy, but it was a big deal for me every morning. I knew that there was gonna be a Smash Brothers update. Yeah. Like, when I woke up, I grabbed my breakfast and sat down at my computer and looked at it before I even got dressed or ready for work.
I too went online every morning. I would look at challengerapproaching.tumblr.com, and they would have all of the updates right there.
That's amazing.
They were right there.
You amateurs, I would stay up as late as possible to see what the update was.
Don't you give me sass. I put that update on Tumblr within the minute.
But, I don't know if Sakurai intentionally wanted to avoid the whole concept of dojo posts and Miiverse posts. You could tell he didn't plan to do it right away with Super Smash Bros. 4, and he just was going to put up a few screenshots, but then the demand kept coming until it was a daily thing. Like, I felt sorry when I noticed he was going to do it daily again.
I'm going to throw in and say new game, and I don't care if I'm wrong.
Say mostly new game.
Yeah, okay. The kind of a port answer, the technically new game. Ark actually said something when he was talking about why it was he said too soon. And that actually swayed me a little bit because how many Nintendo milestones have been hit since the last one came out that would need to be represented in Smash?
A new Zelda and a new Mario, and that's about
it. And Splatoon and Pokemon Sun and Moon. Those are the 4, in my opinion. Yeah. Since there's been so few major milestones since then, if it was going to be a full new game, how far could they really bring the Nintendo legacy?
What do you think, viewers? Is it a port or a new game? Let us know in the comments below.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh, we're doing this, guys! Get ready!
If you like Smash Brothers.
We're a serious discussion group now. We gotta do it. Yeah! Alright! So,
Alright, what's next?
Next section. Topic 2. Inkling, show us your moves. The Inkling is Smash's newest contender, announced at the end of March 8th's Nintendo Direct, and only 3 years after her initial debut. Not bad. Inklings are known for using long-range weaponry, and in the trailer she uses a splatter shot, the most iconic weapon in the game. She also at one point in the trailer uses a splat bomb on her opponent, making it likely that they'll be a part of her toolkit in Smash. How would you set up an Inkling's moveset in a fighting game to make her a viable opponent?
Funny thing, I kind of already designed the Inkling in my head when Smash 4 was coming out because I would have put money on it being a DLC character.
Oh, right. I think a lot of people were doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think a single person in this call ever thought that the Inklings wouldn't eventually get into Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a pseudo idea where all of their shots could leave some sort of ink trail or something on the stage that could somehow affect combat.
Yep.
The poor scenery artists. All their hard work covered up by this goo.
So Inklings are not very fast, and they're all about long-range stuff.
Well,
So,
yeah, okay.
Are we doing this talking over?
Let him finish. Go.
Just get a spray bottle for Saps whenever he says
my thought process is that the Inkling is going to be a character who starts the beginning of the match at a disadvantage, but then they'll eventually cover the stage in their ink, making it so that they can traverse land more quickly, and then they'll have a slight advantage as time goes on.
Ooh, I like the strategy bit of like starting off weak and then getting stronger as you cover more of the stage with ink, because that's just like the game.
But there has to be a way to counter that, right?
Well,
the ink would probably
get rid of ink.
Well, the ink would probably fade over time. So you could cover a certain portion, and if you were really good, you would know to cover more of the area quickly. So maybe you would even avoid fighting directly at first and focus more on avoiding your opponent and covering the stage in ink. That way you suddenly get them trapped in like your territory, and that way you can like dodge and weave around them a lot faster for a few seconds.
And the most skilled person would know exactly which, like if it does like fade over time or if it can be countered. They would know the exact spots on each stage that are like most optimal to ink.
Yeah.
To give you the best movement.
Yeah, like if it were a standard battlefield stage, you would probably be like, oh, I got to make sure to get like the higher platforms first so I can manipulate the high ground to my advantage.
What did you guys think about the mention of the splat bomb that she used in the trailer?
Yeah, I think it's going to be either her... My instinct is that it's going to be her side B. That her side B throws out an ink bomb and it just, like a sticky bomb, lands there for a second and then explodes.
Another thing could be if the ink does damage, if someone else touches it and it like disappears like more quickly than we were thinking before, and that's how like they do like offensive attacks.
Damage over time,
and then or something like that.
So like if they're standing in the ink, it'll do like little bits of damage, like
something like that.
I like that because that would be true to the game.
The bomb could also be something that you could pick up as any player, like that could just be an item.
That would be
like Peach's little like radishes and stuff.
Yeah, like
bomb,
like Link's bomb or Snake's grenade.
That would be super cool. And I do think that it's going to be timed because at least the way it's demonstrated in the demo that we saw, she throws it, it lands, it beeps like 3 times or whatever, and then explodes. So I'd be willing to believe that at least in the demonstration for how she'll be represented in Smash, they would try to keep it as accurate as possible.
Right. Oh, one thing go off what Hannah said about the damage over time. Now, I have not played a Splatoon, but I do know something. Like, you go slower in your enemy's ink.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one thing, maybe instead of doing damage, it has like a slight slow effect.
Make them slower.
Or maybe it does both.
Because like if you can like cover the whole stage in ink and it does damage and slows them, that's like super powerful.
I just imagined an Inkling shooting a wall and going straight up it. Like they can do the wall jump thing higher than any other character.
Dude,
well, yeah.
Like if you take a stage with walls on the side, like just ink the sides of that to recover.
Yeah, there you go.
One limitation that's from the base game that no one's mentioned yet: you don't have unlimited ink. You've got a tank. You've got a tank on your back that runs out, and when you run out of ink, you have to sit back for a little bit and let it refill. So we're trying to figure out
or swim in your own ink.
I agree. So you think that you'll need to recharge your ink by going back into your ink for a little while.
I mean, it may also just recharge over time.
Some level of vulnerability when you use too much ink, just to give the opponent a way to fight back.
Another fun thing is maybe you could even hide in the ink.
Well, that's what I was... Fun. Yeah, one of the things that I hadn't brought up yet is that their down B would allow them to transform into their Kraken or whatever you want to call it. Their
squid.
Yeah.
What is a squid you speak of?
Their squid form, which would allow them to, if they don't have ink on the ground, would kind of just be a dud move or would do little damage.
Goldine around for a while.
Or in their own ink, they could go in it, zip through it maybe really quickly, and then when they pop out, there's like a splash damage effect.
Maybe the Inkling, like the kid form, is just naturally slow, but the squid form is just real fast, but not a lot of damage options.
Like how it is in the game.
And at least the idea that I had for her up B was the rocket launch or whatever from the beginning of each match, where they kind of just like shoot up into the air.
Like a squid jump.
That's it. Yeah.
That does sound like fun. She could even she could pull out other types of weaponry from the game. Maybe she could pull out that little shield thing, the little like sprinkler system that
it makes it like a little wall. Dude, what was it called? Roller?
Yeah.
Roller would be great
in terms of melee combat.
I mean, she would probably play similarly to how the Mii Gunner does, just like how they gave the Mii Gunner a Splatoon costume.
Well, the paint roller in Splatoon, you have to get it to the ground, and then while it's there, all an opponent has to do to defeat you is not be directly in front of you. And then they can pretty much splat you. So if that were to translate into Smash, I'd say that once you get the move started, it's kind of like a Jigglypuff rollout, where you're going to be good as long as you're going to hit the opponent, but when you miss, that makes you vulnerable.
I like this discussion versus the last one, because the last one was like, oh, maybe it's this, and this one's just like, oh, this would be so cool, wouldn't it? Yeah!
But this isn't a yes and no binary question. We can go balls to the walls here.
Now,
yeah, you're right.
Can I drop the big question?
Go ahead. What's the final Smash? Is that the question?
What is the final Smash going to be? And I really, really want it to be the Kraken.
I don't blame you.
I want the final Smash to be the Squid Kid jumping up into the air and transforming into the Kraken and just flying across the screen, leaving a huge mess of splattered ink on the actual TV screen, with maybe the characters hitting the screen with it and sliding down.
That'd
be so cool.
Or a bit like Bowser Jr.'s Final Smash, where he paints the screen and it damages people.
Oh
yeah, that could work too.
It does do that.
Or Game & Watch just turns into. I'm suddenly imagining all the cute photos Nintendo's gonna make of the Inkling and Game & Watch in his octopus form.
In Splatoon 2, there is no Kraken.
Well,
there isn't. Oh.
Yeah, in Splatoon 2, all the specials are different.
What's the thing where she pulls out a speaker and it does a a big laser in front of her?
That is also not in Splatoon 2.
Oh, it's not.
Okay, well, I mean, in no game does Mario ever shoot a massive wall of fire across the screen.
That's also fair. What is Luigi's thing exactly? The dancing? I'm not sure.
Negative zone. That was in the previous Smash, though.
Now he's got the poltergeist. Yeah. Everyone prefers when the final Smashes actually come from a canon ability. In Splatoon 2, your options, there's an ink tornado that you send out, and that could just cover the screen. There's a rainstorm that you do, and then it rains down ink in front of you. And I think that could translate really well.
Oh, I like that one, because then once it's done, she's still in a better position because she can go around anywhere.
Yeah,
just causing Callie and Marie to do a dance party.
Yeah, it's a little off topic, a little bit, but can you imagine a Callie Marie stage where they're just performing and that's the song? Oh,
that's what I was expecting. Yeah, I'm expecting some sort of concert stage level where you can see them playing in the background.
Another thing I'd like to toss in is the potential for alternate costumes for her. I think that we're gonna get girl Inkling, boy Inkling, definitely.
Yeah.
But also Octoling girl and Octoling boy.
So I think two of each.
Yeah. Two of each one, I think.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't remember how many different hairstyles there are for the males and the
6
females.
for each.
Only... Okay, so
they could get most of them.
I'm expecting them to pull kind of a villager with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there's so many options for costume with the Inklings that they wouldn't even think about the Octoling.
Do you think we could customize their appearance like we could with the Miis?
I wouldn't mind the Octoling being an entirely different character. They could totally make 2 different characters.
Like a clone?
Out of Splatoon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because who else would you choose to be the villain from Splatoon?
But not all the games have the antagonist representation. By the way, we need more antagonist representation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you know the best thing that would come from the Inklings being in the game, honestly? All the really great Splatoon music being added.
Yeah, Splatoon has really good music.
Yeah. There's also a special that is called the Ink Jet, which is them hovering above the ground and shooting blasters against the enemies. But I think that could be her recovery too, instead of the squid jump.
There.
That's not a bad idea.
I think one of the more iconic things with the Inklings is also they have a lot of different fashion styles and a lot of different weapons. And I would be shocked if they only stuck to the splatter shots.
Well, I was thinking if maybe, because Splatoon doesn't have a lot of, quote-unquote items in it, if the guns were, or at least one of the guns, ended up being, an item that other characters could, pick up from capsules or boxes.
That's not a bad idea. Do we want to spend a little time thinking of potential items that could be from Splatoon?
I want the roller. I want Link with the roller.
That would be sick!
The idea that I was going with was, you know how Mega Man, all of his standard attacks are different weapons from his series? I'm kind of thinking that like they'll have their specials, which will be like maybe the grenade or the squid jump or squid farm or whatever. Their standard attacks, like their standard A attacks, would just be come from a variety of standard weapons. Like jab is just the shooting with the splatter shot. Maybe like this smash is a roller, this smash is a charger. Quick aerial is dualies, just stuff like that.
That does sound like
to expand on that. Most people don't remember because they never used that in Super Smash Bros. 4 there were alternate movesets for pretty much every attack.
Yes.
True.
I was going to mention that because I think Inkling could very easily get the Palutena treatment.
Where they suck as a normal character, but they're overpowered as a...
Ow! Ow!
Actually,
Yeah,
so do we all think custom moves will come back?
At some
I don't think
level,
they were
it
popular
might.
enough to come back.
I don't think people like them at all.
That's the thing is a lot of people didn't like them. On the other hand, that was kind of the whole deal for Palutena and the Mii fighters.
Yeah.
They could change Palutena if they that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I
was
think
coming
they
from
were
an
like, this is a
arrogant
cool idea. Let's put it out there and see what the like general populace thinks. And
okay.
it got nothing. So they're like,
But
never
do you
mind.
think they could have the Mii fighters without custom moves? Because like their whole deal was customization.
It would be fine if specifically the Mii fighters worked differently than everyone else.
It would be fine if specifically the Mii fighters weren't in the game anymore.
I liked the Mii
Get off
fighters.
this channel.
You would cut our great president Abraham Lincoln.
I could see Judd being an assist trophy.
Oh yeah.
What did he do?
So again, I don't know much about
Points.
Splatoon games in great detail, but I'm thinking, could any of the shopkeepers show up and like maybe apply a buff?
Maybe Shelgon could apply, which is the gun stealer in that game.
Or the urchin dude who gives you clothes. He'd be neat.
Yeah,
I'm done
It's
with
gonna be our
Splatoon
Splatoon
now.
talk. Thank you.
Wait.
Go on.
Jay, can we get you to say that you like Splatoon?
I like Splatoon.
All right.
Great. Topic 3. Springman. Springman is the main character of ARMS, a game released on the Nintendo Switch console in June 2017. ARMS and Splatoon are often mentioned in the same breath, both being franchises released in more recent years than most Nintendo franchises, and both having been heavily hyped up during their development processes. As a result, Springman is heavily recognizable, and ARMS is one of the Switch's biggest releases to date. The ARMS franchise would certainly have no challenge whatsoever giving Smash Bros. Ample material to work with in making a moveset for Springman, having such a wide variety of interchangeable weaponry he can use in battle. But is he Smash material?
So you mentioned that ARMS is one of the biggest Switch games so far.
Yes.
Is it?
It did very, very, very well online.
Nintendo thought it would be.
Nintendo is pushing it hard. They are doing so many global test punches. They just announced during the most recent Direct that they're going to be doing this like tournament where they're actually going to have the winners come to like Nintendo headquarters and get specific art pieces done by the developers of ARMS, like the art directors or whatever. They get their own art pieces as winners. Like, I mean, there's so much stuff that they've been doing with ARMS to try and make it really popular.
Yeah, they're really hard, but is it working?
If Springy is in the game, Sakurai's probably been working on him before ARMS even launched.
I mean, they worked on Greninja before he was even...
So the success or failure of ARMS doesn't really matter when you consider
That's the thing.
sheer recognizability.
Here's the thing, because ARMS, it didn't exactly set the world on fire the way Splatoon did. But again, since it's so recent, and if Sakurai's been working on this for a couple of years already, then it's totally believable that an ARMS character was in the planning documents from the beginning.
Yeah. That's what I would believe. That when they sat down and they were like, okay, we know that we use Smash pseudo as a like advertisement for our franchises. What characters could we bring from our recent games to really advertise that to people who may not have played it? Definitely would expect an ARMS character to be in there.
Yeah. So that's my thought process, is that I definitely think that ARMS was big enough to receive a character, regardless of whether or not you like it or you think that it will get a sequel or anything like that.
And you know, since no one said it yet, and because BJ Steve 65 is about to type it in the comments, I like the game. It's a good game.
Oh,
in my
yeah.
opinion. So
I also really enjoy it. I just played a little bit more the other day after the Direct and all that. I still think it's a fun game, but you need friends.
I'm with you, Steve.
No wonder I don't like it.
Wow! I think that it's heavily likely that he is going to make it in, but I don't know.
I think he'll make it in. I don't think I'll ever play him.
So we're all on the same page. We've been saying Springman, but I think we've all kind of talked about this before. Ribbon Girl probably as an alternate costume.
Yeah,
Ribbon Girl is an alternate costume
because they're pretty similar in terms of their physique and design.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't really care much for Springman as a character. If they were gonna put in an ARMS character, I would probably want Min Min.
Well, I'd probably like Twintel.
Twintalia.
Yeah. A lot of that's
But
okay, fair.
I could easily see Springman getting the Bowser Jr. treatment for most of the characters, with an exception of Mummy.
Well,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
There's Mechanica, if that is her name. Is that her name?
Her too. Yeah, Mechanica.
Diva.
I've nicknamed every character in ARMS, so I call them Springman, Mummy Man, Ribbon Man, Ramen Man.
Yeah, the thing is, a lot of them have really different physiques, and like Twintel's, her arms are her hair. One of them is a robot.
Yeah.
Well,
So I would expect with some exceptions.
I would expect Springman, Ribbon Man, and Dark Springman. Those three to be able to fit in the template.
You mean Springtron?
I'm with Ryu. I think that those three characters would probably be what took up that character slot.
Yeah. If anything, I would expect them to do the Robin thing, where there's 4 boy outfits and then 4 girl outfits.
Yeah.
That's
one of the boy outfits is Robo Spring.
But one, okay, I'll take that.
Did Little Mac exceed 8 costumes?
Yes, he got 16.
Yeah. He did get 16.
Then Springman can also exceed.
Okay.
Well, we are now all assuming that they will stick to the 8 palettes formula. We don't know that.
Dude,
they put all their development.
If they're keeping 8 players match, which I'm sure they will, then they would have to have at least 8 for each character.
They put all their development time just into creating new costumes. People have like 20 costumes,
and no one will complain.
No one would. No one would.
Yeah,
that's definitely a discussion I want to have for another day.
What about how it's gonna work? How do you feel like? I think.
Well, you have springy arms, and you punch people with them.
Yes, that's a good start.
And that is the extent of my knowledge about this game.
There's grabbing of some kind.
There is grabbing. It would make sense if he had the longest distance grab in the game.
Can you be a slinky?
A little bit of a slinky.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't the ARMS characters also have like the ability to knock each other's attacks away? So maybe he would have a counter.
Parrying.
Oh
Parrying.
yeah.
Yep.
I've been exposed to the Super Smash Bros. Fandom for so long that I can just close my eyes and run a little simulator of this voice that says, well, why do they need Springman if they've already got Little Mac? And I just want to express that there'd be in no way similar moves between Springman and Little Mac.
I can imagine Springman maybe being better in the air because he's a spring.
Also, I don't want to hear anything about characters being too similar until we talk about Fire Emblem.
I just thought of the neutral special. So like a lot of the standard attacks would probably be like quick jabs or relatively faster punches. Neutral special is like a very long extendy punch, but you can use the control stick to curve it after you've thrown it.
Oh yeah.
Like up or down. That would be neat.
Oh yeah.
It'd be really cool if you could like hold B and it would charge up a punch, kind of like Little Mac. But when you released it, it would depend on how far it would go. Like he would stay stationary.
It's like Little Mac, but he stays there.
But as his fist is flying forward, you could use the control stick to direct where the fist actually goes. Kind of like a combination of Little Mac's neutral B and Snake's slow-moving missile attacks.
Yeah, I was thinking also more along the lines of Pac-Man side special.
Yeah.
He makes a trail and then follows it.
There you go.
That'd be fun. I think he's gonna be pretty good at recovering. He'll have really long they did away with tether
recovery.
Recovery.
No,
well, they still had some sorts of them, but they were not.
No, they didn't. Lucas definitely has Rope Snake.
No, but
that's a grab,
but not as the up B.
I see.
In the game ARMS, grabbing is actually a huge component to gameplay. So I wouldn't be surprised if not just your trigger grabs, but if you actually had some grapple attacks similar to
like command grabs.
Yeah, like Bowser's grab where he slams you to the ground.
Like Bowser.
Springman's gonna be our new Zangief. Let's go.
And Dalsim a little bit.
I also mentioned the interchangeable weaponry that you can choose before the battle.
Yeah, those.
I mean,
things.
I don't know too terribly much about the different types, but I would believe that
I think there's like a boomerang.
you could probably
and a
use
shield.
Yeah, and like the dragon thing that you can summon that fires laser beams.
Well, that's Final Smash.
Yeah, so your hands can turn into fucking anything you goddamn want.
It would be pretty cool if they had an ability where, like, say their down B, for example, a la Pokemon Trainer, would switch the character's fight style. So, like, in one stance, they would have 2 different gauntlets, and then if you press down B, their 2 gauntlets would, like, roll over to the next set.
That's cool.
Haven't they mostly done away with characters that transform by pressing
Yeah,
B?
but I believe the reason was it was too hard for the 3DS limitations.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And I wouldn't necessarily. It's not like a transformation. It would just. It would only change like maybe their B moves, for example.
So, yeah,
like all of their attacks would normally, all of their standard A attacks would be exactly the same, but their B moves would be different depending on like maybe they have 3 different pairs of gauntlets that they can cycle through.
I can get behind that. That's a smart idea for a down B.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Palutena treatment, but that works better.
Yeah. Also, all of our homework should probably be to go at like find somebody that has arms and borrow it.
Okay. Come to my house and play arms with me, please.
Okay, that sounds great. I will do that.
Hop on a plane right now.
Yeah, here I come. But anyway, everybody, it kind of sounds like everyone here is in agreement that that representation from ARMS is real likely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say possible.
I'm gonna
call it 100% confirmed.
I'm gonna call Springman my personal most likely character for Smash Brothers 5.
I mean, after
I'm calling it mine is the Inklings.
Well,
they're in.
That's unfair. You cheated.
And Mario.
I would say Mario is my #1 most likely. Right after Super Mario Odyssey, I'd be surprised if there wasn't.
Even like before they announced a new Smash, everyone knew that the Inklings were going to be in whatever the next Smash game was going to be.
Everyone knew the Inklings were going to be in Smash before Smash 4 came out.
Yeah.
Can we get Jay saying, I like arms?
I like arms.
I like arms. I like arms too. They're very useful organs to have.
Organs?
It's already
arms
out.
Organs?
Feet.
They're useful organs?
Yeah.
Will you buy arms too?
I would actually.
Buy arms.
Yeah.
Arms to his legs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it'll be necks.
They're gonna bring. That's the one where they bring in Sanji from One Piece as a crossover character. That's gonna be great.
But they didn't bring Rubber Arm Luffy in for arms.
Okay, yes, granted, that is a problem with my thought process.
They couldn't get the rights yet. That's all. They're still in conversation.
This is off topic, but am I the only one who totally expected Wireframe Mac to be like a DLC character in ARMS?
That would've been
wanted
cool.
Donkey Kong for that one.
I mean, why wireframe?
Because they're supposed to have like weird looking arms and like
because he'd look more like a spring.
Oh, I get it.
Like
So
his-
if he was just a wireframe man, he could extend his arm. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, imagine Little Mac with just the really long arms in
like-
his normal outfit.
just like regular, just
So
like
Springman.
regular human Little Mac, but just his arms are wireframe.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Only his arms are like 10 feet long.
But what if it was Donkey Kong and his arms were Little Mac?
I was gonna say Final Smash.
Yeah, I don't know enough about arms to
Ryu.
comment.
Oh no, I know. He does that thing where he goes crazy and lights up and like gets golden and looks like a Final Smash doing character.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He already has a built-in Final Smash.
We've talked about him being a Little Mac, except great recovery and huge range. Like, what's his weakness?
Slow.
His weakness is that he's going to be too slow. He's going to punch and then he can't do anything for like 5 minutes.
His weakness is that nobody's played his game.
Yeah.
While they're attack, like while they're doing punches, like they're very vulnerable if you're up close to them.
Yup.
Yeah.
Just like because that's how they are in the game.
Yeah.
You're supposed to wait until your opponent makes a mistake and then it's like, oh hey, my turn.
I would also say item headlock.
Well.
Well, that's the thing that like it goes on your head and then you have 4 arms.
Yes.
Actually, I love
Right,
this
well,
idea
and
of it
they-
being an item. That's not bad.
You might not know that because it was added in an update, game mode, where 3 players are put on opposite ends of the map, and then a headlock mask is put in the beginning, and they race, and whoever gets to pick up that headlock mask becomes headlock.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Okay, also, yes, that's good evidence for it being an item. I thought you were going to say 3 players who are all controlling the same 6-armed character. Like
Is there a particular location in ARMS that would make for the best stage, do you think?
I think the map that would be...
Spring Stadium.
No, why would you want to play on Spring Stadium? It'd be so boring. I think Helix's lab would be my...
Oh, hell
yeah!
yeah!
I forgot about that. That was actually
Helix for playable character. Great. Much better than Spring Man. I would be and he can turn into a little goop and glide on the floor like the Splatoon character.
So I'm like exploring the ARMS wiki, and Dr. Coyle is like rad as hell.
Yeah. Again, we need antagonists. Another day.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna say ARMS needs one character.
Yeah. But I would say
definitely not getting a big bad guy.
No.
I'm just saying this character is cool as heck because her arms are Tesla coils.
But I will say, I eat beans.
Beep beans. That's the outro. Beep beans.
Not like this.
So anyway, that's going to be our discussion of ARMS. It seems like everybody here does think that Springman is a very likely character, but we want to know what you guys think. Let us know.
On the topic of leaving comments, if you want to leave a comment on our YouTube section or maybe send us to our Tumblr Ask blog, we might answer those questions depending on what kind of questions that we get. So if you want any particular feedback from us, that'd be the way to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, if you have any characters that are your favorite that you really want to see us talk about, let us know.
Let us know everything you want to talk.
Yes, we will shit all over your dreams, no matter what.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have a lot to say about pretty much any character or suggestion that gets thrown our way. So please let us know what you'd like us to talk about on this show. And hey, we hope that you guys enjoyed episode 1.
Hey, Ark.
That's fun, huh? Hey.
What about N?
Cut it!
You can shut the fuck. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Love you.